This week's Torah portion begins with the laws of making vows. And of course, these laws are highly complex, and there's a whole lot of importance given that a person must fulfill their word. Because after all, there is no commandment that you and I can make except when we say we're going to do something. And therefore one has got to be careful, since this is the only commandment that you can create. This has a profound impact on our souls, because all of our whole spirituality, all of our whole humanity depends upon how we fulfill our words to another human being. And so, responsibility is at the core of being careful with your vows. Now, Maimonides is one who quotes the Talmud that scolds a person for making many vows. And he says, isn't it enough what the Torah has prohibited for you, that you have to add more vows upon yourself? And when you look at the Talmud and you find many great rabbis who fasted many days and were what appeared to be behaving in an extreme fashion and vowed not to do certain things for all of their lives, Maimonides explains that this was only because they found their character lacking in a certain area and they had to counterbalance it. So let me explain and go through this concept from the eyes of the great sage Maimonides. What is the purpose of Torah study? And what is the purpose of the fulfillment of the mitzvahs? According to Maimonides, the purpose of the mitzvahs and the Torah is to get the human being to be able to learn and understand about God. For you see, in order to understand abstract and difficult concepts, you have to be a master of your emotion. In order to be a master of your emotion, you don't go to extremes, you don't make great vows, you learn to have discipline and learn to do things in proper measure, at a proper time. And when the person does that, the person is balanced. How does the person know that he's balanced? Well, guess what? The whole range of the Torah, fulfilling the Torah exactly as it is written in the written and oral law, that makes the person balanced, because the Torah laws are written by God and formulated by God in the best possible way to get the person to be in a state of harmony and balance with his environment. Once the person is emotionally secure and emotionally developed, and his character is of an even, balanced character, where the person is a positive kind of person, the person is charitable, the person does a favor, never speaks badly about another person, the person is constantly studying, constantly doing favors for people, constantly engaged in spiritual and holy pursuits, is active, is responsible for himself and earns a living for himself, does not rely upon others, such a person is emotionally balanced. Person who relies upon other people is an emotional cripple. A person who wastes his time is also an emotional cripple. A person who is stingy with his money is an emotional cripple. Every one of these traits have to be developed, and the way to develop them is by following the laws of the Torah. And the purpose of the Torah, again, is to create harmony within the person, and harmony within the person leads to harmony within the family, which leads to harmony within the society. And so the purpose of the laws of the Torah is to teach us balance and harmony, and to be able to begin to pursue the knowledge of God. But it is the pursuit of the knowledge of God that is at the ultimate level of the Torah. These are called Varga. These are called great concepts. When you study Kabbalah, when you study Hasidus, You are studying the essence of the Torah, because the ultimate element of the Torah that binds us to God is the knowledge of God that comes through these studies. Now, one has got to be very, very careful. There are many people who claim to be esoteric teachers who are not esoteric teachers. They will write about certain things. They'll give you a little bit a tantalizing taste of certain things, but they really are not educated in those areas, and where they are educated, their conclusions are very dangerous and wrong. And one has got to be very, very careful. As I said with the prophet Bilam and Moshe, the way in which you can tell a phony is whether it's about we or me, whether it's about the individual, about glorifying the individual, or whether it is about doing things for the community at large, and people work together and sacrifice together for the sake of the community. Then you know you're working with Moshe Rabbeinu. In our generation, we were fortunate enough to have the Lubavitcher Rebbe and other great Rebbes and the Baba Sali, people who were totally devoted to their flock and not devoted to themselves. Interesting about the Baba Sali refused to have any of his Torah insights, which were great insights, to be written down and printed. He didn't want to have anything printed because he didn't want to have any connection to arrogance and gava, holding yourself haughty above your fellow, even though he was miles and miles above the average person. He was in heaven on earth, a holy man on earth. And this is the ways of the true Kabbalists. The true Kabbalists do not sell their wares for money, because these are forbidden to do for money. A true Kabbalist is a person who helps other people in his time of pain and suffering, and people help them to be able to support themselves, such as happened with the Rebbeim. The Rebbeim never ever had a salary per se. Their households payments were given without any demands from their friends and from their students, but there was never any selling of services. You came and talked to the Rebbe, whether you were rich or poor, smart or silly, whether you were great or simple. As the Rebbe once said, there's no such thing as a small Jew, because every Jew is great. And so, the purpose of the Torah is to get balanced. The purpose of the balance is to learn the secrets of the Torah. When you get to the secrets of the Torah, that helps you reach prophecy, which is the ultimate knowledge of God, which is the world to come on this lifetime, if we can reach prophecy. And if we can't, the world to come is prophecy, is the knowledge of God.